What's going on, Jeromes? Minnesota Vikings training camp is nearly upon us. They're going to get it done in 2021. But we are also, we're human. We need a little time off, time away with the family, head up to the lake, a little R&R. And whenever we go to an undisclosed location, big news always happens. So I fully expect while we're gone a couple of days, Aaron Rodgers will retire. The Packers will trade Devontae Adams to the Raiders. Kirk Cousins will be gifted a speed boost and a clutch boost. It'll be great. He'll become a top 5 quarterback in NFL history. Kirk Cousins might make the Hall of Fame. I don't really know. Jalen Twyman will be fully healthy and ready to rock and roll. All these things will happen. So we're fully expecting it. But we're going to clock out for a couple of days. We'll be back on Wednesday night to recap the first practice on Wednesday's action. And yeah, we'll be buckled in this seat. Probably not this room, but because we talked about we're moving. But until February, so we're here. But we're doing some pre-recorded hashtag content for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're gonna whack up an old school style of Jerome's live stream Q&A. Maybe we'll bring that back this year. I do enjoy doing it, but also it is a daily time commitment, and I don't really like schedules. But we'll see what happens. But we're gonna whack this up and do 3 different videos. So let's go, Chad. How excited are you to see we have the meats get to work this year? Should be an upgrade in the run stuff and game. I can't wait. Absolutely. I was going to say I got rid of the we got the meats graphic on OBS. Oh, well. Anyways, yeah. Even though Pierce has that calf injury and he'll be sidelined for the first couple of weeks of training camp, this might actually low-key be a blessing in disguise because, big guy, you want to keep as much mileage off him as possible, keep him fresher later in games and later in the season. So I think that him potentially being up on blocks, they probably won't play him in preseason at all. And if he's able to be at or near 100% to start the season, it might actually work out. Plus, if you just take Pierce away, knock on wood, alien abductions, whatever. But you look at Diesel Dalvin Tomlinson and Sheldon Richardson, that's a top-tier interior defensive line tandem to start. I mean, Sheldon Richardson should and could be starting for, 90% of the teams, 95% of the teams around the league, and Dalvin Tomlinson is just going to be a man-child inside. I can't wait to see his leadership, his size, holding up at the point of attack, as well as I think he's an underrated pass rusher as well. So, yeah, inside we do have the meats. Maybe James Lynch and Herc or Steve Weatherly kicking inside on passing downs, or Jalen Twyman. Maybe someone else can step up. Go ahead. T. Johnson, with you moving, going on vacation, let's expect the Vikings trade Cousins or something crazy. I don't know. Maybe if Kellen Mond just shows up and rocks out like the first week of training camp, maybe. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. The Vikings' best chance to win a Super Bowl this season is with Kirk Cousins. It is what it is. Archangel 88. At this point of Harrison Smith's career is spent in the box. Thoughts on moving him to the will linebacker spot? On paper, you don't really need to do it because in practice, especially when the Vikings are in nickel, say third down, and so you have 2 linebackers on the field, Harrison Smith will often sneak into the box. Sometimes it's on the strong side, sometimes it's on the weak side. So in practice, he basically already is there in certain situations, but there have been some talk, was it 2 years ago, about Jaron Kearse moving to weak side linebacker because he had played that role as a big nickel essentially in some spots. But I don't think it's something that you need to make official. Christopher Lorenzen, go over each quarterback starter we ever had and give some plus minus info about them. We can do that real quick. Why not? Wiki Vikings starting QBs. This is actually kind of depressing. So I really started paying attention to the Vikings probably early 90s. Like Warren Moon is the first quarterback I really paid attention to. But going through this list, it gets rough. Tarkenton, the Scrambler, and the Gambler. Of course, I never saw him live, but the highlights are absolutely great. Joe Kapp is my guy, man. The tequila swilling, not throwing with the laces, had 7 TDs in one game, took the Vikings to the 69 Super Bowl. There were 69 NFL champions, by the way. The reigning defending NFL champions, because that was the last year before the official merger. It's kind of funny. I do not know Bob Lee. Is it Bob Lee ESPN? Is that guy? Gary Cuozzo? No. Tarkenton came back from the Giants. Cool. Tommy Kramer. So I have met Tommy Kramer, but Tommy Kramer seems like a guy that it would be a lot of fun to party with, even now, man. Yeah. Wade Wilson, RIP. Archie Manning. Yeah, the grandfather of Arch Manning, future NFL Super Bowl winning quarterback and MVP, and future Hall of Famer Arch Manning. Like that's his grandfather, and he had some other kids too. Let's see, Wade Wilson, Rich Gannon. Yeah, there's not enough talked about. It's like, hey, the Vikings drafted Rich Gannon, and then they gave up on him, and then he became league MVP and like two-time first-team All-Pro. Yeah, about that. Warren Moon, we came over from the Seahawks. Now, this speaks to the time. So Warren Moon didn't get drafted in the NFL when he was coming out of Washington because the NFL just didn't buy into black quarterbacks, which is such a friggin' shame. But now you look around the league now, it's like you don't see color at the QB position. Like the highest paid quarterbacks and some of the best quarterbacks in the game are African American. But back then, plus Warren Moon was a badass, man. Warren Moon, strong arm, just slung it all over the place. Went up to the CFL, won like 17 Grey Cups, and the Seahawks were like, okay. And when Warren Moon got to the Vikings, he's already old. Like, he's already 34. But 94, 95, I think Chris Carter had back-to-back 122 catch seasons. He's just slinging it. I love it, man. Brad Johnson got that ring, the pride of Florida State. Randall Cunningham, that amazing 98 season. Jeff George, former number 1 overall pick coming out of Indiana. He is the, gosh, what was it? There was an anecdotal story of where he was a guy who just didn't get it, where had that big arm, sort of Cutler adjacent, but Cutler actually got it. Where there was a story about Jeff George. I forget who told the story, but Jeff George, a coach might have been Bruce Arians, saying, "Hey, why don't you take the offensive linemen out to dinner to show that you appreciate them, and maybe ipso facto they'll work a little harder for you." And then Jeff George was just like, "Why?" The guy just did not get it. Dante, get your roll on, baby. I love Dante, man. Even though he's a big-time stats quarterback, and Randy Moss did kind of make him, whatever. Brad Johnson came back. Gus Farrak came back. T-Jack, R.I.P. Christian Ponder, no go. Donovan McNabb, who still lives in the cities, by the way. It's kind of funny. That one season didn't quite work out. He caught on somewhere else after the Vikings, too, didn't he? Because it was Eagles for all those years, Washington, Vikings. He didn't just retire, did he? No. Oh, yes. All right, so some teams had interest, like the Bears and the Texans. Okay. Teddy, I still think that Teddy would have been the guy if his knee didn't just, socially distance from his body in 2016. It's unfortunate. Sam Bradford, if you say it healthy. There's so many ifs, ands, or buts in Vikings quarterback history, in the annals of it. Josh Freeman, stud. Matt Castle. If they would have just started Matt Castle the entire season in 2013, I think they make the playoffs. As crazy as that sounds. Case Keenum, Magic Carpet ride. And then Kirk Cousins. Oh, yeah, Sean Mannion started one game. Great. Good to see. Next question. M. Winter 2003. If the Rams came calling for Mattison, would you make him available for trade? I would need at least the third that the Vikings spent on him and maybe a little bit of interest. Yeah, I with Dalvin's health, I hang on Mattison. I like Nwangu, except he's never played an NFL down, so I'm keeping as many running backs as possible. Even though the Vikings are probably going to open up on offense a little bit, Mattison, I think he's a really solid player. I think that he, amongst the current Vikings running backs, is the best short yardage guy specifically. Even though Dalvin's obviously not a slouch in that department either. So yeah, I'm hanging on to him unless you're blown away. Unless the Rams give up a 2, which I don't think they would do because they don't have ones for the next decade. Kyle Rippentrop. Any tips for a new college student? I just graduated this spring and I will be going to SDSU in the fall. I guess tips for a new college student: get out of your comfort zone. Meet different people from different backgrounds, and every weekend don't just go home and hang out with your high school friends. No, that's not what it's about. Also, take lots of random classes, things that you may be interested in, or register for electives that you're like whatever, but all of a sudden it turns out to be fantastic. So do that. Socialize as much as possible. I mean, this is the time to do it. If you're going to be a degenerate or party a little bit too much, keep it within reason. Make sure that you get all of your S done. But definitely enjoy yourself. But get because some of the friends I made in college are lifelong friends for me. Some of my best friends that I'm ever gonna have, and I think that is the time to do it. Obviously, get into the studies. Obviously, get into a major that is going to pay a living wage after you get out. I mean, having 4 years and getting a degree in something that is not going to pan out or not be employable afterwards, it's pointless. But yeah, don't forget the social aspect of it as well. Hunter Williams. Will the Vikings still have fans with this new outbreak, or will it be like last year? I don't know. Like, so the league as of right now, all 32 teams, stadiums wide open. But I think that it could come down to like regional stuff or regional whatever. Where LA County, I believe, reinstated the mask mandate inside. So so their stadium is technically inside. I don't think it has a retractable roof. It might, but say the roof is closed and like, will fans have to wear masks inside? All of them? What about players? Oh, is it specifically LA, or it will make it a league mandate? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. New Stripe City would love to collab on a Bengals Vikings preview. How can I contact you? Email producer Allie, or emails in the contacts. Are free. Are we going to lose some young, unproven talent because of the win now situation the team is currently in? It's possible because, man, wish I would have brought up the roster. Because if you look at the Vikings, do I have to bring up the roster? Yeah. Vikings roster. We always use Wikipedia because if you look at the Vikings roster, there's going to be some talented guys that just do not make the 53. Maybe even a guy like Kyle Hinton, who I'm very bullish on long term. Maybe he is snuck down to the practice squad. You look at the defensive line. James Litch, Hercules Mataafa. It would take a lot, knock on wood, for them to both make the roster. I think one of them will be cut and tossed on the practice squad. And there's going to be a crunch. There's going to be a crunch, but I'm okay with that. Having a problem of having too many talented players, I'm fine. I am certainly fine with. Next up. Derek Baker. Would Aaron Rodgers be an upgraded quarterback for the stacked Vikings roster? No, I refuse to admit that. Hashtag not my MVP. Mike Cameron. Do you think that DJ Wonnum could make a Pro Bowl this year? Probably not Pro Bowl, but I think that he certainly could ascend in year 2 because I think that he will have ample opportunity to get at least starter level snaps. I think that Patterson obviously likes the veterans, so I think that he's going to give a lot of leeway to Stephen Weatherly, who's fine, but he doesn't have the long-term ceiling of a Wonnum or Janarius or Patrick Jones. But Wonnum last year, I think that he showed enough good tape to really get a good look this season. Plus, remember last year, DJ at times was probably the best edge rusher on the team. After they got rid of Yannick, like him and Afadi, it was sort of a 1-and-1. So teams could easily just like dial in on DJ. But with Danielle Hunter back, hopefully at full strength, he's going to be double teamed. He's going to be getting all the attention. All of a sudden, Wonnum is out of sight, out of mind. He's getting a lot of secondary and tertiary attention, and he's getting a lot of one-on-one spots. And all of a sudden, boom! Oh, he just racks up, maybe like 8, 9, 10 sacks a season. Because you look at that effect where guys will sometimes come out of nowhere, put up big pressure, big sack numbers, but you look at who else is on the team. Like the Saints last year with Trey Hendrickson, one-year wonder, pride of Florida Atlantic. I don't think he is that top-tier alpha edge rusher that the Bengals paid for. I think a lot of it was the Saints still have Cameron Jordan still in his prime, and Cameron Jordan needs a lot of attention, and then Trey Hendrickson was getting one-on-one spots. So I think that this could be a Hendrickson effect for DJ Wonnum.